were talking in our last segment about feeling like buttheads after shaming Elliot for not showing up
Elliot.
to Fire Up Esports Lounge last weekend because he's, I had a medical problem. And he sends in the doctor's note. And speaking of that, Ian from Tech2U /FireUp/everything is with us. Hello, Ian.
How's it going, guys?
Good.
Thanks for having me.
We got another night this Friday night with the RAD kids at 6 o'clock. How's that been going from your perspective?
Oh, so great. It's been such a blast. That karaoke thing last time was a hit. Everybody loved it. I would say that Kyle's singing chops were just not what we expected.
No, thank you.
And I'll just leave it at that. Not what we expected.
Gorgeous,
I won't say
right?
anymore, but describe them how you want. Just not what we expected. I'll just leave it there.
So I don't know how far you want to go with confirming this, but I hear that last Saturday night was a very big night.
Yeah. So Fire Up has been so fortunate since we've been able to get back open again and having everybody come out and just ramping up back. Everybody's coming back out. And yeah, Saturday night, that was our biggest night that we've had so far to date.
Not biggest night that the RAD kids were there. Biggest night Fire
to
Up
date.
has been open.
And not just like a little bit like, oh, we broke a little record. Like it was our best night by far. So thank you guys.
Even then, the first one we had that was super packed, it was better than that night?
This is bigger than any night they've ever had with or without you.
Significantly better.
Well, and I think we were actually talking about it a little bit at a meeting. We hang out there, do things. I think you're right. The presence of karaoke it causes people to need to lubricate themselves a little bit more.
Yeah.
And so that wasn't there the very first night the RAD kids were there.
Yeah.
So that might punch up the fuel beer sales.
Yeah. And that's funny that you say that because one of the things, of course, we're always looking at is, as the nerds we are, okay, let's look at the metrics from the day, right? So it's what was the amount of fuel that was gone, and we went through 2 kegs.
Damn.
Yeah.
So usually when we have you on, Ian, it's your part of the Tech2U. And the whole thing is the Tech2U umbrella, but we usually have you on as the nerd that you are, and you're giving the tech advice.
Absolutely.
And dealing with all of the questions about routers and the same things that you're going to hear all the time. And of course, Circles with an S, the social media app, is also part of this behemoth.
Yeah.
And we were at our meeting on Monday. We were also talking about how basically the RAD show and everybody within the Tech2U family, we're pretty much screwed. We're basically just connected at the hip.
Yeah, we didn't sign a prenup, did we?
No. I mean, we are so deeply intertwined with each other.
Too late now.
And it's turned into just this fantastic relationship.
It's been awesome.
Of like-minded people, and we all get along well, but more importantly than that, we all see the business world and our goals and everything the same. And the truth of the matter is, I don't know if any of that would have happened if it wasn't for the other guy that you brought today. Because Brandon, from your perspective, you stumbled in to Tech2U, and you came to me one day and, hey, Rob, I found this place they can fix our computer.
Doesn't talk like that.
Sometimes I do when I find a place to fix our computers.
And I'm like, fine, whatever. And then like a week later, I don't remember the timeline. I'll have Brandon tell it. He's like, I think we should go meet with these guys. I'm like, why? From your perspective, how did it go?
Well, honestly, just like most people who have a laptop with a hard drive that dies on them, I needed somebody to help me recover the data and get my laptop back in order so that I could continue to do the job that Rob makes me do. So when I went into Tech2U, one of the locations in Roseville, California, and I think his name was Steven, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Steven was the guy who took the laptop in and fixed up the hard drive. And when I went to go pick it up, he proclaimed how much of a fan he was of the show. And it really just started to snowball from there because I did bring up the fact that, we do need help from time to time.
God, did we?
And and it was just, after we had our own building for, I think at the time we had it for probably like 9 years. And we didn't really have a tech support team other than me. So it was almost serendipitous how everything worked out. And then Ari reached out to us and we met, and it just has been what it is today since then.
And Ari's the guy that I knew from the beginning mattered. He was the first person that mattered. And Ari's with us.
Yay, Ari!
Hello. Yes, I sure am.
How are you, Ari?
I'm doing well. Thank you for having me.
Is that how you recall the story?
Yeah, absolutely.
So what was it that made us, but how did it become like, oh yeah, we should meet with Ari? Like, did you see a way to just really like gouge me for money?
That was 100% it. Yeah, that's all. Yeah, it's all about that. No, it was, when you see somebody who's a producer of a radio show, who's, highly utilized, time is money, and he could be spending that time on much bigger things, and he's dealing with IT problems That's what we see in business all the time. Companies that are not at the point where they need full-on internal IT, but they have IT problems. And usually there's somebody internally that's dealing with that, like Brandon in this case, and that's our market. That's who we target. You need IT help.
And so what we didn't know at the time was how much more than just IT we actually needed, because this is what ultimately led to you guys finally rebuilding our website, which was a disaster,
amazing, yeah.
and making it mobile friendly. And I mean, since then
yeah.
we kind of revamped the studios using you guys, because this is where you finally got my attention. See, you got Brandon's attention by telling him how you can make his life easier. When you started telling me how you could improve my company, save me money in the long run. And then started working with you. And so specifically, what's the difference then, Ian, between what you do and what Ari does?
Yeah, I'll start with a quick history. We both started with Tech2U around 15 years ago. So it was about the beginning of the company from, there's probably, 7 of us?
Yeah. When I started, it was only 4.
Yeah.
Wow.
So Ari was there a little bit before me.
Wow.
And we had one shop, Sacramento. That was it. Obviously, we've expanded to multiple cities. Even the, listeners we've got in Reno and stuff. We service a lot of areas, especially for businesses. But yeah, we both started doing tech. Ari was going to people's houses and fixing printers, but he was doing a lot of business work at the time. He was the one guy that we had that really knew how to do, the higher level demand, or how to handle that higher level demand. So over the years, we've sort of split into these 2 different departments. I run what's called our core team. So we do break fix services, is what we call it, for mom and pop's shops, and we do grandma's house and everything, anything anybody could need on sort of a small scale, and even most small businesses. Ari handles the stuff that gets significantly more complicated. And in a lot of times,
oh great, so we're complicated.
No, yeah. So I was going to add to that. A lot of times, it's an environment that isn't complicated, but has the ability to work a lot more efficiently than it currently does, and that can extend to so many different things. But just as a great example, even clients who are telling everybody, "Oh yeah, my name is autotowing@gmail.com," and it's like, you could use the Gmail address, but we can set you up with, you got your business name, we can get you set up with that, and phone systems and all. Obviously, I could let Ari kind of run down that path, but he handles that side of things.
There's the whole other side of business. When you know what you know, typically, and when you're doing your own IT, just like what Brandon was doing, you know what you know what you can tackle, but there's a whole other world that you're not even exposed to. You don't even know what's possible. And just being able to highlight some of those possibilities, and hey, if you do this little change here, you're going to unlock all this potential that you can benefit from. We see that constantly. We have some large clients that have been operating for 20, 30 years, and you show them this one little adjustment, this one little tweak that increases productivity. Adding 2 monitors at somebody's desk increases productivity 30-40%, and you unlock a whole nother world.
Probably improving that dot matrix printer too.
Absolutely.
How many times to that point do you go into a company, or you start working with a company, and you're just shaking your head at like, this is like 90s technology, or whatever the version is of how antiquated what they're using is?
So common. It's so common. It just like I said, people are so busy doing what their main line of industry is that IT becomes just this afterthought. And it shouldn't be, especially in today's cybersecurity, what we're facing today. It's terrifying out there. You can't be complacent. You can't be stuck in what you know. You have to be innovative. The cat and mouse game is on.
It's not like getting into a restaurant businesses because they thought, man, I can't wait to set up a point of sale system and a network that all of my people can use. Now, if I was starting a restaurant, yeah, that'd be my first thought. But mostly people start a business or run a business from a passion about that business. They don't think about these things. And so we can bring in a lot of those ideas of how to make that.
And when you guys started bringing in those ideas, the initial meetings I was having with Brandon was, how is this going to improve things? And he would explain it to me, and I would take a leap of faith. This is really before I was even involved in me, and I would see the difference, because we were upgrading things, and I'm like, there's nothing wrong with what we're doing, Brandon. Is this just so you can get out of here earlier?
He spoiled our plan.
And then you do see the results. Right. A lot of what you guys do there, it's exponentially better. Your life gets better.
That's right.
Just by some of this stuff. And so when what was it, a year ago, we were having Ian on because everybody's at home. And everybody's trying to figure out how to work remotely, and their kids are at home, and their streaming's not working, and they're pulling their. Now we hope that people are heading back to the office. Most major companies are saying fall. Some have pushed it by a month, but more and more people are getting back to the office. So now do we have the reverse problem?
We do. We're going back into the office, but it's even more complicated now. Initially, everybody's in the office. Then we made a shift to everybody's remote. So you basically have one type of environment you have to build. Now we have these hybrid workforces where 40% of the staff are in office, 60% are working from home. You're not just managing the security of one type of infrastructure. It's now this hybrid mix of chaos. And I mean, it's doable. Obviously, we're doing it. We're getting it done. But it takes a lot of coordination and effort from the security perspective.
And some of my friends, it's like you said, some are just going to stay at home, and then some go to work. But then other friends, it's like, well, 3 days a week we're there, but 2 days we get to be at home.
That's right.
So they still need all of it.
That's exactly what we're seeing. One of the clients that Ian and I were just talking about this morning, it's a big business park here in Sacramento. It used to be an air base, a military air base.
Gosh, I wonder what it could be.
They're doing the same thing where they're going to have some of their staff certain days in, certain days out. So you have to build this environment that can sustain this kind of flexible, dynamic workforce. It's from a technical perspective, it's very complex.
So, first of all, you've said the word security at least 3 times so far, and we've talked on the show multiple times over the last many weeks about this ransomware and these other various hacks, and you're absolutely right. This is the kind of thing that keeps me up at night if I didn't have you. Because my answer to my wife when she asked, I'm like, that's Tech2U's problem. They'll figure it out. Because I know you guys have it locked down,
Right.
but that seems to be a big focus right now.
Absolutely it is. Yeah, and we lose sleep, so you don't have to, because I'm losing sleep every day. But worrying about this stuff, this is data became so valuable. I mean, you look at Google and the marketing and all that stuff. Data is the real key of every business. It's the cost of protecting your data. It's all about that data. So hackers are now targeting that data with ransomware. They take your data away, they lock it up, and then you have to pay to get it fixed.
Oh, God.
It's an ugly, scary world, and cybersecurity. The cat and mouse game has always been going on with viruses, but it used to be much more harmless. I mean, viruses had some harm, but it wasn't like it is today.
Well, yeah,
Now
and
we're
we used
dealing
to
with
only
millions and millions of dollars.
We used to only have to manage the business
Right.
data. Now you've got people at home accessing that data from their house at the business. There needs to be a secure pathway there.
Right, so with Dawn's friends that are working in the office 2 days or whatever and at home 3 days or vice versa, you've got to have all of that locked up, including them at home.
That's right.
Yeah.
Well, and then the people doing it might have had a really successful career with something that's on the up and up, but they're like, I can be a criminal and make this much instead, right? So I mean, they're probably getting some of the brilliant minds.
Yeah, some guy like Ian.
Right.
Ian decides to go evil
Either
on
one
us.
of them, yeah.
Ian's too busy.
So we have a ton of business listeners, small businesses, law firms, things like that. So what's the process if they're thinking, oh my God, I've been worried about this, or even just I can't get on my employees' work. When we do individual stuff, it's easy. Oh, go to Tech2U.com. Well, what do we do what's the business owner do?
So you just call that same exact number and say we'd like to set up a consultation. We do free assessments, environmental audits. We'll come in and tell you, here's your environment today. Here are the weaknesses and holes. You don't have to sign up with anything with us. Just we want you to know what's out there. And through our demonstration of the knowledge that we bring in with that audit, we tend to make our relationships that way. So that's all that's required. Just contact our main office and say we want to set up a consult.
Yeah, it goes to my team first, and we have our dispatchers routed accordingly. It's pretty easy.
And I have to say that as somebody who takes pride in what they do and takes pride in the equipment and all of the inner workings of the business that we do here, and it's so tech heavy in the stuff that I do, having Tech2U point out the flaws and doing that audit and saying, hey, this is where you are lacking can be a blow to one's ego. And I'm just speaking for myself, when you do take so much pride in it, it's hard to hear, hey, actually, this isn't working out, but this is how it makes it better. The bedside manner that Tech2U brings in those cases is excellent. They make you feel a lot more reassured that, hey, it's okay. This is common. But, this is how we can work through this and make your system more robust.
Yeah, do you run into having to tell people their baby's ugly a lot and the IT guy's like, hey...
It's not that it's ugly. It just can be made better. We can improve it. We can put a little bit of lipstick on this and it'll be a lot better.
And to Brandon's point, because again, with a lot of business owners listening, you know how to do that without saying whoever's been handling this is an idiot.
You just focus on what needs to happen and why. That's it. You don't worry about what's happened before. They called you because they knew that they needed something. So there's no benefit of saying what led you to that. You just say, here's where we are today, and here's what we can get to, and here's what we'll gain.
Yeah, the data does the work for us. When we get to show you everything that we found, it usually does everything for us.
Do you mind taking those tech calls as well? Because you're going to get those as well. So phone number is 888-989-9811. By the way, you say call the same number. So any business owner, any business that's listening, just go to Tech2U.com and then and just follow the steps from there.
Absolutely.
Cool. Hello there, Travis.
Hi, guys.
Hey.
So I just had a fairly quick question. I'm trying to make it short. Long story short, a buddy of mine helps me build a PC at home, and it's worked great for years, but one day I came home like a month ago, and it just wouldn't turn on anymore. So instead of spending, another grand or so on buying a new computer, I was wondering if you guys, what the process would be to come out. People can't do it remotely. If you guys are able to come out and diagnose, like, maybe it's something as simple as a power supply or something like that.
My first question is, are you able to translate what the hell he's saying?
Yeah, it sounds to me like, in short, his issue is not powering on. He mentioned a power supply. That's one of the first things we'd look at. So kind of going off of what Ari said, too, we do free diagnostics for pretty much everything. Our Ari's team does if we have to go out to your business. And then, of course, if you bring a computer into us, if we can connect to it remotely, our diagnostics are totally free. So we'll tell you what's going on with it, no charge.
So he wasn't asking for help with his phone.
Or he should have.
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't. We can't fix, T-Mobile, Verizon, AT&T connection issues, right? We can.
Probably an operator error, anyways.
I'm wondering how many business owners now are realizing, I have a different category to budget for with the tech stuff, right? Because they're like, maybe didn't realize before how scary it could be, and maybe trying to like put it off, and then it's like, wow, this is a real thing.
It's really important to be able to sit with the decision makers and the financial minds at these businesses and show them budgeting, and show them, here's the return on this investment, here's the risk if you don't make this change, here's what you could be facing, and showing all that data. It's part of, we kind of expanded our whole managed services offering to not just be the tech guys that fix things. We're also the ones that are sitting at the table with you on those decisions and budgeting and help planning and forecasting and giving you the real data. We like Ian mentioned, we're all about data. We turn over numbers and metrics. So we want to encourage and empower our business leaders with that valuable.
Can you give an idea? I mean, obviously it's going to vary business to business, but somebody who owns a dentist's office, they just started a restaurant, whatever, this security concern. What are we looking at? If they don't do anything, it's fine. I got Norton, whatever there is, and that's it. That's all I need.
Jeez.
What are they looking at? Like, what are they going to be able to? What could somebody do to somebody if they don't have the right security in place as their business?
So many different trajectories we could go with this, but their data, they have customer data, they have customer credit cards on files and systems. All it takes is somebody to gain access to your network, and there's your whole customer list. There was a large managed services provider. They are the IT company for others, and they got hacked recently, and all their customers are now exposed because the managed services provider got hit. It's all about getting access to your data and your files, whether it's credit card info, patient information, email addresses. That's one whole trajectory.
Phone number is 888-989-9811. Hi, Rex.
Hey, how are you? Hey, Red. Sorry about that. I have a small business, and something I've kind of fallen out of is doing backups. We do manual backups, but is there a program out there where we could write like a script to say, I want QuickBooks automatically backed up, I want my Word documents backed up in Excel, because we create a lot of documents in a lot of different platforms, and we're just not managing them properly. So if we ever did get bitten, who knows what we would lose.
Right. That's what we were talking about earlier, is how to prevent ransomware. The only way you prevent ransomware is a good data backup routine. So, yeah, there's tons of software out there for that. There's ones that are specific to each task. You really need to have several layers of backups, though, between having stuff local, having stuff in the cloud, and we can go through all those options for you. But ideally, what you're asking, there's absolutely plenty of solutions.
He mentioned writing a script too. It's far easier than that too.
Right.
Thankfully, there's a lot of software that doesn't require anything custom to make that happen. Yeah.
Yeah, layers are really important. They can totally change the shape of your face.
So is the idea, Ari, that you have this constantly redundant backup system? So if you do somehow, if they break through, you don't really care.
Exactly.
It's like, well, that sucks. We have to improve our security, but we still have our info.
That's right. That's when you're empowered as a business leader, when you have that redundancy. You know that, hey, you hacked me, but I don't care.
We were talking about a project that we're working on. Yes, a very big. Don't even get started, Brandon, because I know you're jumping out of your skin for this thing.
I'm so excited.
We're working with you guys on something the audience is going to go insane over. But when we were talking about it, you were asking about like a specific redundancy, Ian, that you wanted to buy, and I made the comment. I said we kind of run on redundancy, and you've looked into everything here, and you go, you guys and that's why.
Yes.
You guys have really turned us into that direction of backup everything. And I don't just mean digitally. have extra cameras, have extra boxes for sound effects.
What's in the box?
It's funny for the listeners. Obviously, most people haven't had the opportunity to come into a radio station, let alone this one, and see this building and what you guys have done with it. But it's impressive. It's impressive from a technical standpoint, and also just from a listener standpoint to see. Oh wow! If that fails, that just kicks on, and if that fails, that, and it tickles my technical heart because I love to see it. Yeah.
Well, and you were mentioning last time we were together that you called the show years ago before we all knew you, and I made fun of your name.
Yeah, appropriately. That's okay.
Excellent. Here's a few email questions. Here's a guy with a real name, Tyler.
Hey,
Real masculine name.
He
Yeah.
says, I got a question for the tech guys. Do you have services geared towards home security VPN
Yeah,
instead of
absolutely.
internet suggestions and all-around home service like your business package?
Yeah, there's a ton of security that you can do at your house. We have a lot of people calling about. So VPN is just easy, short thing. It sort of makes your internet searches a little bit more private.
Right.
So kind of keep it that way, right?
We all do.
Say it like that. If you don't want your internet provider knowing what you're doing, that's the way to do it. And yeah, we can help you with that.
We got this note from no name.
hey, person.
Do you do simple data recovery? By the way, is it data or data?
It depends on what coast you're on.
I don't know.
I say data, but I hear data all the time. So
I usually say
it's data.
I don't know what I say now that you screwed it up. I think I say data.
For example, recovering data from an external hard drive that has a broken motherboard. I have an external hard drive that was dropped. The hard drive does spin, but seems the chipset is not responding. Is that something Tech2U can do?
Yes. Yeah. Absolutely. We do all levels of data recovery.
How do you understood that? Good grief.
Come on, Don. Go with it. Michelle's got a very sad story about a dog that passed away at only 6. And long story short, I was looking for his puppy photos, but can't seem to find them. They're meant to be on my laptop that's broken, and I don't know how much it costs or if you can even recover them. The pics are really important.
Yeah, so this goes back to the free diagnostics. I can't say this with certainty, but I'm pretty confident we're the only company in any of our service areas that will actually do a free attempt at data recovery for you. So if we can't get what you're looking for, we won't charge you. So bring it in. We'll look for it, and if we can find it, we'll help you out.
Hello there, Mark.
Yeah, hey, I'd like to know if there would be any chance a 67-year-old truck driver could get lucky at Fire Up.
Yeah, have you met me?
You miss 100% of
Yeah, I don't think that requires with that enthusiasm. I think you're gonna be great.
Yeah.
you miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
You're a little young for me, but we can talk.
That is one thing that's been talked about is the diversity of the crowd that comes out to Fire Up.
I feel like the thing that we have to answer the most, we got to make sure we do a better job of making this clear. It's all ages, and there's a lot of kids there during the day, a lot of adults there during the day, but it's certainly a lot of adults at night. Once we get after 10 o'clock, it's certainly more of an adult environment. Older kids are still there playing their games and stuff, but the environment sort of changes through the day. But we love doing kids' birthday parties there. It's a blast.
We had some wiener write in and say, well, I don't have kids, and it sounds like only people show up because they're bringing their kids. No,
Not even close. No,
we've never presented that.
One of my favorite examples of these guys that come in is like every other day, there's these 3 dudes that come in that are carpet installers, and they get off at like 3-4 o'clock. And these are not like PC gamers, not console gamers. They come in, they grab a beer, they chill at the arcades, and then they're gone in an hour.
That's awesome.
Yeah. No, you don't have to have kids. There is a bar there.
I heard carpet guys like the shag.
Oh my God.
So the Rad Kids are back at Fire Up Esports Lounge on Friday night at 6. So anything we've talked about, you just go to tech2u.com, you call the number, or you even do the online chat, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And just tell them what you're looking for, and then everything gets figured out, whether it's business or whether it's personal, whether it's family or whether it's home. Ian, it's always great to see you. Ari, so great to have you in the studio.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Appreciate it.
Thank you guys so much.